Hi, everybody. Welcome to the PokeBeach.com podcast. My name is John. I go by Water Pokemon Master on the website. And I am joined, as always, by my wonderful friend...
Justin Basil of justinbasil.com.
We didn't get much sleep last night because we were covering the reveal of Battle Partners. And then there was more news that I had to cover this morning coming out of China. So we're going to jump right into it because it's all very exciting stuff. So... let's start with Battle Partners. So over the weekend, China held their Champions League Osaka tournament. And on the first day, they revealed the Battle Partners booster pack, as you can see here, featuring Lillian Clefairy, Hop and Zacian, N and Zoroark, and Iono and Bellabolt. And then last night, they revealed the first cards from the set, which we're going to go over. There's 100 cards in the set before Secret Rares. And so far, they've only revealed trainers Pokemon for N, Lily, Iono, and Hop. We're not sure if there's going to be more in this set. My gut instinct is that there should be, because having 100 cards for just 4 trainers doesn't. It just feels like they would really have to stretch that. So I feel like there'll be a couple.
They can have non-trainers Pokemon in there too. I think they probably will.
I don't think they're going to do that. No way.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm. I will go on the record saying, and we can bet, and if I'm wrong, I'll pay you $10. But I really feel like this whole year is going to be.
It's entirely possible they do not put any in there, but they could, which is my point.
They theoretically can.
Obviously, they didn't do that with.
Really no reason
they didn't do
it
with Gym Heroes or Gym Challenge.
I think it would.
But
clash.
at the same time, this is a much different set, so it's like a different era too.
Yeah, so I think it would clash thematically because. I think that this whole year is about trainers Pokemon, and even the trainer cards in the set that we've seen so far have to do with trainers Pokemon. So I don't really think it's going to be like Gym Heroes and Gym Challenge and all these kind of sets before, where it's just always been purely trainers Pokemon. I think maybe was it EX Team Rocket Returns? Maybe they had like one that wasn't. I don't remember, like a secret rare. I might be completely misremembering, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think it's going to be purely trainers Pokemon. But we'll see. You could be right. I'll pay you $5 if I'm wrong. How about that?
As I said, I'm not claiming that they would. I'm claiming it's a possibility.
Yeah, and you're right. It is a possibility, but I don't think they're going to do that. But anyway, so what was your initial impression of these cards? Because I had an initial impression, and I'm curious or actually of this entire reveal. What did you think?
I actually liked this reveal. I think there's a lot of good stuff in here. I appreciate the fact that they added to stuff that we've already seen. So obviously we'd already seen Enzoric, we'd seen Reshiram, right? We'd seen several of these En's cards, we'd seen Lily's Clefairy, but they added on to that in a way that helps us understand kind of their direction for these decks and for their goals with this set in general. And I appreciate that.
Well, I agree with everything you just said completely. Although I did have kind of a negative first reaction when I saw the pack artwork. I was like,
really? Because I loved it.
I'm a Gen 1 whiner. So when I didn't see any
a Gen whiner, yeah, okay,
whiner. When I didn't see like Misty or anything like that, I was kind of like, aw. And then they showed Hop on the pack artwork, and he's like one of the lamest characters. So I'm just like, he's actually really not that popular either. Which doesn't help. Yeah, so I was just kind of like,
you have like 3 of the most loved characters that aren't from Gen 1 on this pack art.
Yeah.
And Hop.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, you are out of your league.
I personally don't like Iono, but I know a lot of people like her, so I digress. But I just didn't like the lack of Gen 1 trainer representation. But I guess it's a little hypocritical to say that because
they can only how can I say this without being extremely crude? They can only give love to Gen 1 so much.
Yeah.
In every set. So probably somewhere down the line this year they'll be like, hey, look, here's a almost exclusively Gen 1 set. It's almost like they have a Glory of Team Rocket coming out or something.
Yeah.
Where they can, excessively dote on Gen 1 like they always do.
That's why I was about to say I'm a little hypocritical. Because, like, I was even saying before we knew any of these trainers Pokemon were coming, you had asked me, like, a year ago what I wanted to see. And I said, I want to see trainers Pokemon or owners Pokemon of the newer trainers so I can start to remember a lot of them, especially the gym leaders. And then when they actually revealed the pack artwork with these newer trainers, I was like, oh wait, no, I also want some old ones too. Sorry, but yeah,
I mean, they're gonna give us old ones.
They will.
There's no shot. There's no shot in a year they're not gonna go as old trainers.
Yeah,
and I guarantee you, probably every single one of the Kanto gym leaders will get something.
I hope so.
I hope so. They're Kanto.
Yeah,
Pokemon can't help but obsess over Kanto, so they'll do it.
Okay, so let's get into the actual cards. How do you want to do this?
Let's start with what we had already seen so that we have context for what we have learned. So let's start out with Lily's Clefairy EX. Lily's Clefairy EX is a basic psychic type Pokemon with 190 HP. It has the ability Fairy Zone. The weakness of each of your opponent's dragon type Pokemon is now Psychic. Apply weakness as ×2. I know some people have been misreading the text here as N's Pokemon because they see the N and they think it's N's. Guys, N has been Dragon for years and years and years. That's not a crazy change.
I'm the one that named
learn
it.
Learn how these work. Learn how this works. Anyway. And then we have the attack Full Moon Rondo for Psychic Colorless. This attack does 20 more damage for each of your bench Pokemon, both yours and your opponents. So this is very similar to something like Palkia or Raikou, right? Personally, I think this card's actually incredibly fantastic. And since we've seen this, let's go ahead and look at what they added to it, which is Lily's Comfey. So Lily's Comfey is a basic Pokemon that has 70 HP, again, Psychic type. It has the attack Flower Call that says, search your deck for any number of basic Lily's Pokemon and put them onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. So you have that Clefairy where it's going to do a bunch of damage based on the number of Pokemon that are on the benches, and this is saying, hey, just fill up your bench.
Yep.
Which is...
It's a good setup card. You want that in your opening hand. Synergy.
Yep. Now you're gonna really want to go first, or you're gonna really want to go second, and then of course there's all the downside of this will probably get knocked out, and then you're not attacking until turn 3, or to 2 or 3 depending on how you go first, second. But at the same time, there's at least synergy here, even if it might be too slow for a meta deck. I like it. It's cool. Up next, let's look at Inzork EX. This is the other big card.
And then the attack also, the second attack, the Fade Out, 30 damage, put this Pokemon and all attached cards into your hand. So that would be a way of, like what you just said, like getting it out of harm's way, and then
it's gonna get knocked out anyway.
Oh, really?
This is just Spiritom's Fade Out attack. It's not anything crazy.
Okay.
But we had seen Inzork EX. Inzork EX, of course, has trade. So harkening back to the Zoroark GX from Shining Legends, trade, of course, says you may discard a card from your hand in order to use this ability. Once during your turn, you may draw 2 cards. And then because giving it the Zoroark GX trade effect wasn't enough, they also needed to give it some of that Mew VMAX flavor. They gave it Dark Joker for double darkness energy. Choose one of your benched Ends Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. So now you're basically getting your pick of whatever bench Pokemon you have for Ends to copy. Just like Mew is copying Fusion Pokemon, this is copying Ends Pokemon. And powering this up, it was not going to be that difficult, as we're going to see here in a little bit. If we look at In's Reshiram, which is going to be one of its copies, one of the things it can copy, it has Powerful Rage, which would be for, this is not Fire Colors, it's Fire Lightning.
Oh, sorry.
Fire Lightning says, Powerful Rage, 20 times damage. This attack does 20 damage for each Pokemon count, or each damage counter on this Pokemon. So if you're copying this with Inzork, they try to hit into it, they don't knock it out. You copy In's Reshiram, do a whole bunch of damage back to them. If they don't fall for that trap, you hit them with Virtuous Flame, because you're doing it for 2 darkness energy on your Zoroark anyway. Now you're thinking, okay, so how am I powering up this Inzork? Because Dark Patch is going to rotate at the time this comes out, right? Based on everything we've seen from patterns in the last years, Inzork will become legal as Dark Patch leaves this format. So obviously that's going to make it a little bit more difficult to power up. Well, Pokemon heard you. Pokemon said, let's give In a PP up. And yes, the juvenile jokes aside, this is the name of the card. PP up is the name of the item card in the video games. And this happens to be In's PP up. John.
Sorry. It's so
Giggling
funny
like a school
hearing you
child,
say
sir.
that. And then to top it off, they of course are using the design of PP Up from the video games, which looks like a bottle of pills, like Viagra or something.
with an eject button iconography. It's like an eject button. Anyway, but the effect of NCP Up is attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to one of your benched Ends Pokemon. So if you have an Enzork EX on the bench, you can throw a Darkness Energy from your discard pile to that and get it powered up that way. So pretty nifty stuff. We have Ends Darmanitan. The text here says Darumaka, but it is in fact Darmanitan. Darmanitan has the attack Backdraft, which does 30 times damage. This attack does 30 damage for each basic energy card in your opponent's discard pile. So if your opponent happens to be playing Cerulege specifically, this is a giant double middle finger for them. It will just nuke them completely because, if they're dumping 16 plus energy in their discard pile, that's a lot of damage and they're not going to survive it. And then there is Darmanican. I like the translation for that. 90 damage to the active, and then you pick one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and does 90 there. You don't apply weakness or resistance for bench Pokemon. This is similar, but not the same to Radiant Greninja's attack. It's not hitting 2 Pokemon of your choice, but it's hitting the active and 1 bench Pokemon. And it remains to be seen how good this will end up being. More than likely, we'll probably get some sort of analog to Manaphy. Right now, the closest thing we have to that is Rabsca, and maybe they'll choose to make that what we have to use for protecting our Pokemon index. If that does end up being the case, Ends Darmanitan might be a decent option index, but if not, then we shall see. And then for the other Ends Pokemon that we need to talk about, we have Ends Sigilif. Sigilif has Psychic Sphere, which does 20 damage for a single Psychic Energy. And then it has Victory Symbol for Psychic Double Colorless. This is exactly the same effect, or same attack rather, we saw on Unknown V from Silver Tempest. It says if you use this attack when you have only 1 prize card remaining, you win this game. I don't think this is especially good. It could be good in like very, very niche situations where you need to make sure that you could still take a prize card or still win if your opponent tries to lock you out of taking additional prize cards. Niche wise, it's possibly useful, but the meta will determine whether or not it actually sees any play. And then for cards we did not at all see prior to this morning, we have Iono's Tadbulb and Iono's Bellybolt. We'll start with the Bellybolt since that's the one that actually matters. Iono's Bellybolt has Electric Streamer as its ability, which says, as often as you like during your turn, you may attach a basic lightning energy card from your hand to one of your Iono's Pokemon. So this is basically Rain Dance for specifically Iono's Pokemon. Not too bad. It does have also Thunder's Bolt, which does 230 damage. This is for Lightning colorless, so kind of a hefty attack cost, but you have Rain Dance effectively, so what do you care? And then you can't use that same attack next turn without like doing the whole retreat shenanigans.
And they also...
But the card that really... The alt is beautiful,
yeah,
yes.
They also revealed a special illustration rare for this, which is... So I said before there's 100 cards in the main set. This goes up to... This special illustration rare goes up to 125. So we're going to have quite a few special illustration rares in this set.
So there's full arts and illustration rares, and I mean, there's a lot there.
Basically, what I meant was we're going to have. Sorry, what I should have said was we're going to have the usual distribution of rare cards in this set. It's not going to. This set isn't going to redefine how our special or how our secret rares are laid out. It's going to be the same as previous sets in this block. And
then we have Iono's Watchel and Iono's Kilowatchel. Watchel, of course, is one of my favorite Pokemon, so I love the fact that it got a cool card here. But that art for Kilowatchel is absolutely stellar. It reminds me a bit, Kilowatchel. It reminds me a bit of Akira Igawa, like the style of Akira Igawa. This is Chibi. It's a different artist. Still very cool art, and I think this card's actually fairly decent. I know the reception to this particular card, especially in the comments on Poke Beach, was a little lackluster, but I think it might be better than people realize it actually is. So it has the ability Flash Draw. There should be a line break there. Flash Draw, you must discard a basic lightning energy from this Pokemon in order to use this ability. Once during a turn, you may draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. So since you have Bellibolt EX out as the Ino player here, you're going to be throwing energy everywhere. And if you happen to have a spare energy in your hand, at some point you can just attach a 20 or Kilowattrel. And then, like, let's say your opponent ends you down to 1, you can just discard the energy with Flash Draw, and then quickly fill your hand back up to 6. I think it's pretty busted. I actually think it's a really good effect. I think it's one of the more powerful draw cards we have currently with this post-rotation format coming up. And it does have an attack Mach Bolt for 70, so in a pinch, it could theoretically do some attacking too. But I think it's very good support Pokemon. As for other cards that were revealed, the only other one really worth talking about is one of Lily's cards, in this case a trainer card, and Levincia. So we'll talk about Lily's Pearl and Levincia here. Lily's Pearl is a tool card. It says if the Lily's Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out by damage from an opponent's Pokemon's attack, your opponent takes 1 fewer prize card. So this is very similar to an Ace spec called Life Dew that was out in the Black and White era, except this is not a spec card. This is a regular tool card, and it only applies specifically to Lily's Pokemon. So there is that. But at least in the expanded format, there is a number of ways to recur this particular tool card. And as of yet, there's no real good way to remove this tool card. We do have Jamming Tower to shut the effect off, but like straight up removal of the card won't really exist when this card comes out, unless they print something like Tool Scrapper again. But again, we haven't seen that, so we don't know that it would be coming, if it is coming at all. Our last new card that was revealed from Battle Partners this morning is a Stadium card that should be very familiar to anyone who kind of goofed around with the Alolan Dugtrio deck back in the Sun and Moon era. This is Levincia. Levincia says once during each player's turn, a player may put up to 2 basic lightning energy cards from their discard pile into their hand. This is basically Mount Coronet, but it is for lightning type energy. I think it's good. I know players have said this is a enticing card for potentially being used in Gold and Go decks. So we'll see.
Combo it with that Kilowattrel.
Yeah, I mean, Kilowattrel Belly Bolt. I mean, it's very much intended to be comboed with all of them. Right?
Yeah. That's the end of those cards. So in August at Worlds, Pokemon also teased Arvin's Mabastiff, Misty Psyduck, and Ethan's Pichu. We don't know if those will be in this set or in another set later this year. Battle Partners is, of course, going to kick off a year of Trainers Pokemon. So these could be for later sets. We'll see. Of course, the booster pack artwork does just show those 4 trainers. So maybe it will just
they can only fit so much on there.
Yeah. And then
I do love this art, though.
Yeah, there's going to be a Iono's Wattrel promo card. You can see here. It's a reprint of the one from the set that we just went over with alternate artwork. If you buy a booster box of Battle Partners from participating stores, such as Japan's Pokemon Centers, you'll get this promo card. And then we also got the reveal of the Collection File N and Collection File Lily. They're just binders that come with cool artwork of the trainers with their Pokemon, a coin, a reverse holo version of Enzora or Lily's Comfey, and then 6 booster packs of the set. So yeah, that's it for Battle Partners. We will be getting these cards in our Journey Together set on March 28th. It should also include the cards from the Marnie and Stevens decks that'll feature Stevens Metagross EX and Marnie's Grimmsnarl EX. And then it'll also should include the cards from, what's it called? Heatwave Arena?
The decks for Marnie. No. Heatwave Arena should not be part of this set for us.
You don't think so?
No. I don't think so.
Oh, no. Sorry. Yeah. Right. Sorry. I said that last week. Yeah. It was supposed to be Heatwave Arena and Glory of Team Rocket were going to be a set together. That's what the current theory is.
Yeah. So one thing I wanted to do before we move on, if we go back to the collection files, I wanted to kind of see what Pokemon they have on their arts because I think that kind of matters. So we see the Zoroark, which we know is in the set already. Darmanitan's in there. I see also Joltik, Clink, and Reshiram. Reshiram we knew. But Clink and Joltik are both not something we've seen yet.
Right.
So theoretically, they could still be in this set. And then Lily, I just saw Ribombee is the only one that we haven't seen in a set. And I know people were talking about how she doesn't really have a team. Like, she doesn't have much of a team in the games. So this might be all she gets.
Yeah. Looks like it. So that would, I don't know if, we'll have to see. I don't know if, to me, it feels like they would really have to pad this set out to get to 100 cards for just those 4 trainers. So maybe we'll see.
I don't think it's going to be just the 4.
Yeah.
There's something else for sure.
Yeah.
What it is, we'll see. But there's no way it's just these 4 trainers.
Yeah.
I think also there's going to probably be a fairly high number of trainer cards in the set. Do we know what the lowest trainer card number is that we've seen so far? Because this would be considered a base set for us. 89 is the lowest, so we have at least, well, not necessarily at least, because we have potential for special energy cards, but probably roughly at least 11 cards that would be trainer cards. I think it's probably even higher than that in actuality. So just because again, this is a base set effectively, so they generally tend to load this setup with a higher number than usual of trainer cards, because this is a core set for the year.
It's starting the trainers Pokemon mechanic. All right, so that's it for Battle Partners. We should be obviously getting more cards for that over the next few weeks because it releases next month, so we'll look forward to that. All right, our next story of the week is that China is getting the 151 set on January 17th. It'll be called Collect 151 Journey. China has been releasing compilation sets to catch up with the rest of the world because they just started releasing cards there a couple of years ago. So this set is going to include cards from 151 as well as Paldean Fates, such as Shiny Pidgey and Ditto, Kanto Pokemon. There's going to be 2 booster packs of the set available, one with 5 cards, one with 20 cards. And they're going to be releasing all of the 151 cards in 4 different booster packs throughout 2025. And each pack will add more 151 cards that you can collect and also change the inclusion rate of the cards available in those packs. But the big part of this story is that they are getting exclusive alternate art secret rares that have not released anywhere else in the world. So you can see here there's going to be 4 different secret rare Pikachu cards. One with Psyduck, one with Gengar, one with other Pikachus. And then they previewed also a Mew EX. So we are once again seeing exclusive alternate artwork cards coming to China. And this will be probably maybe maybe these are 20 now that we've gotten. So they're really starting to release exclusive cards in other countries and keeping them exclusive to those countries. Maybe that's like a strategy to get people to buy the cards internationally or something. I'm not sure. But I don't think these are going to release elsewhere in the world because we've already moved on from 151. So they'll probably stay exclusive to China, just like those Pokemon Go alternate art cards. So their set is also going to have different versions of the Reverse Holo Pokeball and Master Ball Holo cards, as you can see here. We still haven't seen the ones that we're going to get for our Prismatic Evolution set. So I don't know if maybe I don't know. China's probably doing their own design here, so I don't want to say these could be the ones we're getting in our set. But every country might do their own thing. But and then China is also releasing binders of every single Generation 1 Pokemon, 151 binders featuring artwork for every single one of them. And these will come in sealed packs, so you don't know which binder you're going to get. Each binder can hold 9 card pages. Man, this is like a nightmare if you want to collect all these, because it's going to be crazy to get all of them.
Do we know what the retail price is for them?
No. I'm sure it's listed somewhere, but I forgot to include it. They can't be that expensive, but. And then China is also going into the Scarlet and Violet era on January 17th. As we talked about before, they've been releasing compilation sets to catch up with the rest of the world because they just started releasing simplified Chinese cards there a few years ago. So now they have entered the Scarlet and Violet era, and they're really catching up with us. So they're
moving breakneck speed.
Yeah. Their first Scarlet and Violet set is going to be named Eternal Birth and introduce EX Pokemon. And, of course, all these 151 cards. So we should get more of these alternate art secret rare cards revealed over the next few weeks. I think the set numbering implies there's going to be more of them. So definitely we're going to look forward to that. So, yeah. And then also speaking of China, they are also going to get on January 17th a new Pokemon TCG Gem Pack, which will give you the opportunity to also pull more exclusive cards featuring Pokemon Horizons characters. So you have Captain Pikachu here with Professor Freed, Liko with Sprigatito, Roy with Fuecoco, and Dot with Quaxley. Again, I don't think these are going to release in other countries, but we'll see. We did get some Pokemon Horizons promos before that released in China that did eventually release here, so maybe we'll get them. I don't know. We'll see.
I wouldn't hold my breath.
Yeah. And then these gem packs, again, come with 4 cards. All of them are holo, and they will feature different holographic treatments for the cards that they include. So you can see here Sprigatito with the Grass Energy reverse holo background, Pokeball reverse holo background, kind of a star glittery pattern, whatever this kind of pattern is, this sort of prism pattern.
Acid Trip.
Yeah, Acid Trip pattern. Master Ball reverse holo, and then you can also get the shiny Sprigatito from the originally released in Paldean Fates. The Sprigatito with a Pokemon TCG Gem Stamp. The Sprigatito illustration rare that released in, what was that set? I don't remember.
Probably Evolved.
Yeah. And then different holo treatments for Great Ball, Ultra Ball, and Energy. Basic Energy. So, yeah. The big news for this is if these Pokemon Horizons cards are going to release elsewhere. Because these are pretty cool.
They are. I like the Liko one especially.
Yeah, it's my favorite one too. She's holding her pendant. Roy is holding his...
and Sprigatito, which is like the real deal there, but...
Say what?
She's also holding Sprigatito, which is like the real important thing, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see if these release elsewhere. Okay, so what else did we have this week? Okay, so McDonald's. Okay.
We have the Irida black and white promo stuff too.
Yeah, I'll get back to that after a little bit, kind of a minor story. But so we now have a name for the McDonald's promotion featuring Dragon Pokemon. It's officially called in English Dragon Discovery. It's going to release in McDonald's stores on January 23rd in Austria and presumably Germany. The cards will be printed in German. So this means it's still possible we're going to get this promotion in the US, but again, we haven't heard anything about it yet. These cards are obviously themed after the Year of the Dragon, but since they're now releasing in 2025 in Austria, they may still release them in other countries because I guess they're not letting the Year of the Dragon theme hold them back. So we're not going to get this promotion, unfortunately, later this month in the US because it's now been revealed that McDonald's is going to be having a Sonic the Hedgehog 3 promotion featuring Sonic toys. I remember actually back in like 1994, they had like a Sonic promotion there, and I had like this. What's that character's name? Is it Tails, the yellow one? I don't know what its name is. And then you could like pull this string, and the tails would like fly off into the air. It's like one of my earliest toy memories. So it's kind of cool seeing like a Sonic promotion from 1994, and then again in 2024. That's like what, 20 years later? 92. Is that 20 years later? 30 years later. I can't do math. So if this Dragon Discovery promotion is also coming to the US in January, we should hear about it in the next 3 weeks. So we'll have to stay tuned to that. Again, we haven't heard anything about a US release, which is very unusual. So I'm a little bit worried that this won't be coming here, but we'll see. I had previously stated in one of my stories that there's been a McDonald's promotion in the US every year since 2011, but I went back and looked through all the 22 years of news stories I've written, and McDonald's did not have a promotion in the US in 2013 and 2020. In 2013, they did release a set exclusively in France, but since we're now seeing this set releasing in Austria, that means that neither situation is going to occur this time. So in 2020, a set didn't release anywhere, which is not happening this time. And in 2013, it only released in France, which also isn't happening this time because we're getting it in Austria. So we're kind of in new territory here. So it's kind of hard to predict what they're going to do. So yeah, the promotion started on December 4th in France, and we're going to see if it comes elsewhere, like the US. It remains to be seen. So hold your breath, I guess, for those of you who like collecting these McDonald's sets. I kind of like collecting them, but and I was excited for this one because I liked that it was featuring the dragon Pokemon and more fully evolved Pokemon than we normally get. So I kind of do hope it comes here, but we'll see what happens. Anything else you want to say about this story?
No, I mean, this is still pretty non-news for me.
Yeah, well, this is again like an example of a story that's really, really popular with casual fans. Like, casual fans eat up this McDonald's stuff. I mean, literally. All right, so next story is kind of a minor one. Japan is holding their extra Battle Day tournaments on January 1st. They do this every year. They're expanded tournaments that they hold at their Pokemon card gym events. Like previous years, they're going to release an alternate art promo card. This time it's Irida. Again, new artwork. Then
beautiful artwork too.
And then there'll be you'll also get a booster pack containing one of 12 promo cards from the expanded format. Some of these cards have released as long ago as the Black and White era, like this Garbodor. But they will have Scarlet and Violet promo numbering, as you can see here, and the extra Battle Day stamp on the cards. So
this just makes me wish that TPCI supported expanded as much as TPC does.
Yeah. Or
at all.
We haven't had...
This is a great opportunity for Pokemon to, hey, look, this Irida card we're pushing out, it's going to rotate soon, but it's really cool. You get to get that promo. Also, since you're here, you can help build up your expanded card collection with these stamped cards that aren't going to ruin the value of the original ones. But at the same time, like, you can actually get cards that will help you out build your expanded deck, which is really cool because then you can play in this format that people will also enjoy. Whereas Pokemon Company International has basically decided, you know what? Standard's the only thing we're going to bother to support because it's the only thing that we feel like doing anything with.
Well, so I think this is an example of maybe where TPCI, this is just such a niche thing, the expanded format for like, this is more like of a hardcore player thing, and they don't seem to like really support the hardcore players that much. Because we haven't had an expanded tournament, a premier event in like, what, a couple of years now?
It's been since before COVID.
Yeah. So they just,
they stopped doing the expanded tournaments with these regionals and such. Mostly because they just decided, you know what, we're going to come back in limited form. And then they never expanded back to having expanded available. And part of that maybe is that Japan's doesn't do a very good job regulating their ban list. Maybe it's that Pokemon Company International doesn't want to deal with it. I don't know what it is. But like there is absolutely a community of people who would play expanded loyally and would very much enjoy the format. It was not... Was it as popular as standard when it was being played? No, it was maybe half as popular. But it still saw a significant amount of play for an alternate format. And the problem is when we're like, oh well, they're not supporting it, so therefore it's just not gonna. They don't want it because it's not popular. Well, it's not popular because there's no support. For
chicken
it.
and egg.
A lot of these cards are just not possible to get, and Japan is obviously seeing that as an issue, and they're figuring out a way to fix the problem. Whereas TPCI, at least as of yet, has done absolutely piss all to do anything with Expanded. They've done no Trainer's Toolkit for Expanded. They've done no packs like this. They've basically decided that Expanded is not worth their time.
Well, it's probably like they probably see the sales numbers for things like that, and I mean, they only really do things if it's going to make them a lot of money or if it's worth the effort. So I'm guessing that. I mean,
okay, you say that, but like they have all these like League Battle decks and stuff. They sell too. People
because those are for little
all the time, and they're not their big collector products. They do in fact sell player products. They could just as easily create an expanded League Battle deck. They could create a product that. They could literally create a League promo pack just for Expanded stuff. Like they can do a lot of stuff with very minimal effort, but they choose not to.
Well, I'm just guessing. I don't know, but I'm just guessing that their numbers show that it's just not worth the effort. For I don't know. I'm just guessing that's what the reason is.
And even that. I'm going to go further against you here. The Gym Leader Challenge format is another alternate format that has a lot of lineup with Expanded, and it is the most popular. It is unofficial, but it is the most popular alternate format for the Pokemon trading card game, at least in the United States. Not so much elsewhere, but in the United States, it's very, very popular. A lot of these cards work very much for Expanded and for Gym Leader Challenge. Stuff like Muscle Band, stuff like Pokemon Ranger, Battle Compressor, Trainer's Mail, Versus Seeker, even that Giraffe Rig. All these cards, Floatstone, Silent Lab, like Double Dragon Energy, all of these cards could see use in that format too. There is plenty of cause for TPCI to go, you know what? Screw it, let's create a Gym Leader Challenge product. We'll call it Expanded because officially that's our format, but we're going to focus on more Gym Leader Challenge cards in this product because we know they'll sell more. Like they could do anything, literally anything, to support their format, and they choose not to.
Yeah. I'm just going to be repeating myself, but I'm just guessing, like I said, that they don't do a lot of things to support hardcore players. They even like those league packs are kind of just feel like not a lazy effort, but kind of like there you go, so that we don't have to keep releasing exclusive promos all the time or sending orders to our printers all the time and shipping these out. So, I mean, it would be nice. Like I agree with everything you're saying from a player's perspective. Like it's fun to play these sorts of formats. It's fun to like change things up and, do these different variations of, formats and stuff. So, I mean, I would love if I could just sit down and get a pack of these and play with them. Like that would be a lot of fun, but I don't know. I guess that it's just, their numbers just maybe show that it's not worth the effort to them. So I don't know. I'm just repeating myself. Anyway.
Yeah, it's a self-defeating prophecy for them. Their numbers are low because
you're right.
they haven't supported it.
And you're right too. It's a chicken and the egg thing. You're saying if they're not supporting it, well then obviously it's not going to be popular. But like maybe, I mean, when they were running the expanded tournaments before, like so you were saying it wasn't as popular as standard, but do you remember what at the time, like were there maybe some complaints about it? Like were people not able to get access to the expanded cards, and maybe that's why they kind of stopped doing it?
That's literally what it was. Is every time there was an expanded event, people would complain about the price of the cards. You get these $90 computer search cards that were basically at the time that was like one of maybe 2 or 3 A-specs that you would actually bother to play.
Yeah.
And so you basically had to have computer search in order to play expanded. And if there's this big hype around the next expanded format tournament and you just can't get it. So, okay, I'm not going to bother going. Or, I can't spend the $200 to $300 I need to get all the cards I need to pick up for this expanded deck because they're just so hard to find now. Okay, well, I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, that makes total
That was the issue. The card availability is the problem. The format itself, I mean, Expanded has both been significantly better and significantly worse than Standard. I think right now it's probably significantly worse because it's got some banlist issues that Japan's not seeming to want to address. Does that necessarily cause? Does that mean that we shouldn't bother to do anything for the format to see, let people actually play the damn format so that they could see for themselves whether or not they enjoy it? I mean, like, because people can enjoy broken formats. There were people who loved the Crown Zenith Standard format. I think they probably should be checked into a mental hospital, but there were people that loved that format. And people can enjoy Expanded too. And even in its current broken state, they can absolutely. If the cards are available, people can play it.
I agree.
The card availability is just not there.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, but I also remember when I first was covering whatever year Expanded came out. I also remember kind of saying in the news story when I first posted it, in the long term, this might become a problem because players that come into the game for the first time, they're going to have to hunt down these cards that are out of print. So I think that makes complete. Now that you've said all that, I think that makes even more sense for why the company isn't supporting it, because they want to focus on printing the new cards that sell a lot. Like for them to give out these cards and stuff and send it to the printers and deal with shipping it out to people and stuff. And
they're just cards. They're literally just cards. How is printing support for like literally a single product for Expanded any different than printing the next Trainer's Toolkit? How is it any different than printing the next EX theme deck?
Well,
it's
because
not. It's just cards.
Well, because the cards don't have as much use compared to standard cards. Standard cards are the current what's happening right now, like the EX cards and stuff.
How much use do you think those EX beginner decks actually have?
Those are for different
audience.
Because
I would venture to guess that the Expanded product would probably get more use than the Expanded beginner decks.
Well, the EX beginner decks are for little kids. I mean, they go to the store. There's the EX cards.
But you're talking about usage. You're not talking about the people who are using them.
No.
I'm talking about in terms of actual use. Because that's what you were arguing.
No. What I'm saying is that so right now we're in the Scarlet and Violet era that have EX cards. That's what you can get on shelves. That's what they print because things go out of stock so quickly. So when they print those EX decks, that's so that kids are learning how the current latest cards that are available work by getting those EX decks and playing them. When you're releasing something for Expanded, which is older, those aren't as compatible with the cards that are on shelves right now. That's what I'm saying. So like from my perspective, like I'm not disagreeing with you. Like I would love more support for things like this. Like I completely agree with you from that. But I'm just saying, I'm just thinking about it from a business perspective.
Leagues. Like leagues used to be expanded in parts of the country, including in California. Like a bunch of leagues used to just straight be expanded format leagues.
But as somebody who doesn't play that often, like I want to focus on what's out there now. I want support. I want to play in tournaments that
those cards can be out there now if they are supported.
All right. Well, we're just talking in circles, but I think we've made our points now.
Guys, who do you side with?
All right. So what was our next story for the week? So we had the World Championship decks revealed, and they're going to release on March 7th, of course, featuring replicas of the winning decks from Hawaii. Each deck will cost $19.99, come with the usual stuff, the deck, a deck box, booklet, pin, coin, poster, playmat, and a code card. As usual, these cards will not be legal for tournament play. So then we got like
imagine picking up these cards and you can't even play with it. Oh, wait a second. We just had this argument, didn't we?
So it was kind of cool. We had a couple of the people whose decks these were, we had a couple of people in the comments who are the ones that these decks are. What am I trying to say? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes. So the people who actually are the cause for these decks being created, as in they're the ones who placed very high in the World Championships, they were in our comments.
Yeah, these
saying, "Hey, this is my deck."
Yeah, they're like, "Hey, I've been reading the website."
So Jesse Parker, I know Jesse Parker in particular was in the comments. I saw his comment in the comments about his deck being made into. That's the Miraidon, third place Miraidon deck for Masters. I think it's awesome that Miraidon got so far, and it was of course very cool that Jesse got a chance to have his deck made into a World Championship deck.
Yeah,
It's the dawn.
Somebody asked them like, "Hey, do you get royalties for these for these decks?" And they're like, "No." It's funny because like they've been releasing these decks every year since forever, and it's always it's the same process. Like the competitors, TPCI pulls these competitors aside after the event is over, and they ask them like, "Hey, suggest a couple of names for your deck. We may or may not turn it into these products." And then they interview the people and stuff, and then they choose who they're going to feature and whatever. But it's been the same process for years, except that these aren't signed anymore. When did they stop releasing them with the autographs on them? Do you remember?
The card's not signed anymore?
Yeah, because I don't see them. Right?
I wonder if that's just an image thing, because I feel like they are, aren't they?
I just noticed it now. I don't remember. I don't know. We'd have to, I guess, look on eBay or something.
I mean, we have somebody in the comments that could probably tell us.
Yeah. So what did you want to say about, did you want to say anything about these deck selections or?
No, I think it's a perfectly reasonable selection of decks from the era. I think.
So we have,
it makes sense that
we have the first place Masters winner, Fernando Cifuentes, with his Iron Thorn ZX deck called Crushing Thorn. Yeah, it's also funny because the formatting of the deck list on the back of the box is kind of wonky. Like, are they just putting a space
there's
here?
like random spaces in it.
Yeah, is this like the featured card, so they put a space after it? I don't know.
Oh no, in that case, it's no. It's because that's the only Pokemon in the deck for that one.
Oh,
so it's only the 4 Iron Thorns, and then the space there is because it's splitting the trainer energy. So no, that's not crazy.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Oh my gosh, I'm dumb. Wait, so this deck only had 4 Pokemon in it? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep, that's it.
I am going to look that up later because I'm very curious about that. Oh.
It's a very cool deck. It still sees play, actually. It's still actively used.
So it was, and then we have Evan Pavelski's Reggie Drago V-Star deck. He's the senior champion. Oh, did I skip? Sorry, Jesse Parker, you had already talked about. His Maridon EX deck called The Dawn,
talk about it again. Yeah.
Masters semifinalist. And then for juniors, we have Sakuya Ota from Japan's Ancient Toolbox deck with Roaring Moon. So yeah, these are always fun to pick up. Like, I like playing with these. So
it is a little interesting they chose not to print the Roaring Moon deck that was in second place. I think maybe they felt it was too similar to the deck that they did for the juniors, the Ancient Box, but they are very different decks.
Well, they always
I don't know.
They always print the junior winner, so the fact it had Roaring Moon in it probably meant that they wouldn't print that other one because it also featured Roaring Moon.
Yeah, it's still just a little different, I guess. Even still, I think it's a good selection of decks. So.
Yeah. I want to pick up the Maridon one. Or actually, and I want to see how this Iron Thorns one works. Can you explain it to me real quick, just out of curiosity?
Basically, you just shut off your opponent's abilities and don't let them play the game. That's really what it comes down to.
Was this deck popular at the time? In August?
Not really.
So was this something
Not
that
really. It was a known deck, and it was one of those decks that because it's a control-y deck instead of an aggro deck, it's of course looked down upon because Pokemon players can't seem to comprehend anything that isn't just aggro. But no, it was a known quantity.
Hiccup me. Okay, cool. And then we have also new stacking tins that are hiccup me releasing in March as well. Also on March 7th. They'll release for $14.99 each. Each one, there'll be 3 different designs featuring either the Treasures of Ruin, Paradox Pokemon, or Ogerpon. Each tin comes with 3 booster packs and 2 sticker sheets. So you can see here the Treasures of Ruins one.
These are really cool, honestly.
Paradox Pokemon, and then the Ogerpon. Yeah.
The Treasures of Ruin one specifically is really cool.
Oh, you like that? Oh, see, my favorite was the Paradox Pokemon. But yeah, it's cool as well. Ogerpon, I don't really like that one. It looks kind of just like the artwork they use.
The Ogerpon one's kind of plain.
Yeah. It's kind of like the one they used just on. Well, I guess all of these are the artwork they used for like Pokemon Center products, but
it's all the base artwork, I guess the stuff. But
background's kind of more.
The backgrounds really help to sell it.
Yeah, background's a little boring on that one. Cool. All right, next story. They
also come. They come. I don't know if you mentioned this. They come with 3 booster packs and 2 stickers each piece. So.
Yep. We're starting to get reveals from our English Prismatic Evolution set. I forgot to add SB on here because it was revealed yesterday. But so we have a reveal of the Umbreon EX Special Illustration Rare, Larry's Skill. These don't really tell us anything about the card numbers in this set yet, so we're still waiting to see what we're going to get in our main set. But since they're only revealing the secret rares, it doesn't really tell us much about the main set and what reprints it'll have. So we're going to wait on that. More should be revealed this coming week, and maybe we'll figure out more. Okay, and then... Okay, so... Oh, right. So Pocket just released the Mythical Island mini set. It features 86 cards... including Mew EX, Celebi EX, Gyarados EX, Aerodactyl EX, and Pidgeot EX. Are there any cards in this set that you want to talk about for Pocket players?
So, I think this is really good. I haven't played a ton with it just yet.
Same.
But Celebi has done really well.
Yeah,
Celebi EX has done very well. Superior has done very well. I believe Scolipede is also from this set.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Am I mistaken? Yeah, Scolipede's also from this set. This set's good. Yeah. I need to play with it more, but my pack pulls have been absolutely awful.
Oh, really?
So I haven't done as much playing as I want to with this. But it's a good set. There's a lot of cool art. Mm-hmm. Gyarados also is doing really, really well right now. I think it might be one of the better decks out of this set, actually. It's just, they did a very good job, frankly, with Pocket and especially with this first expansion for Pocket. I'm genuinely quite impressed with it.
So Superior, it was kind of cute seeing people online figure out, I don't know, like people that are playing Pocket are a lot of them don't really play the main card game, so they're kind of discovering how things work. And so Superior, its ability basically doubles the amount of grass energy attached to your grass Pokemon. The effect doesn't stack, and then when you use Celebi EX, it does flip a coin for each energy attached to this Pokemon. This attack does 50 damage for each heads. So people are like, I saw on Twitter figuring out, oh, this like doubles the amount of damage this attack, Celebi's attack can potentially do. So I'm wondering like how many people from Pocket are going to eventually transfer over to the main card game. Like I kind of thought that was
actually.
Oh, go ahead.
No. I mean, it's tangential, but it's actually interesting you bring that up because I've had TCG players asking, hey, is the store going to start running TCG Pocket tournaments? Because I'm interested. There's more interest, it seems, in the Pocket tournaments than in the regular tournaments. Because, like, if you look online, Limitless Online Tournament Platform is basically the place to host Pokemon tournaments.
Yeah.
And, like, the average online tournament for the regular trading card game, usually through live, you're looking at somewhere between 70 and maybe 300 players. But if you look at some of the tournament sizes for Pocket, you're looking 600-700 players. Yeah. Some of them are as big as like 1,500 players. They're absolutely enormous tournaments.
Yeah. Well, that was
and the games are nice and fast.
You know, when nobody was really covering Pocket and all the, I was posting updates about Pocket throughout this last year. Nobody was really covering it. And I said, like, I interviewed people when it first came out, and I was like, what is the appeal of this app? Because a lot of the hardcore players that were reading PokeBeach like didn't understand why this app was going to be a thing. Right. And they were explaining at the time that, this is a very convenient way to play the card game, to get the cards easily. You don't have to go out to stores and buy the packs. It's all just so convenient from your phone. And that was something at the time that people didn't really understand. And now that's really showing. The app is extremely popular.
Well, that's the thing is all of that should have applied to Trading Card Game Live. And it didn't.
Well, I mean, with live, there's a bit of a barrier because you have to go to stores, get the packs, buy the code, get the code cards, enter them into the app.
That's the thing though is they could have done it just like they did with Pocket. They could have.
What do you mean?
And they could have made it so they could use like obviously you can effectively buy packs in Pocket, right?
Right. Yeah.
They could have done basically the same thing. Maybe make it even slower for opening packs in live or whatever. But they could have done it so if you get a real live pack, then you'll get a chance to redeem a pack inside the game, which is obviously what they actually do. But if there were some sort of real incentive for people to actually want to play live, they would.
Yeah, I mean TPCI. I don't know. They just don't seem
because all these events that are happening in Pocket.
Yeah,
that does not happen in live. They set up a ladder for however long the next set is until the next set's going to be, and then that's basically all they do until the next set comes out. There's very little incentive for players to be like, let me get my daily login, let me do this thing, because there's no real interest in
TPCI
it. Like with Pocket, you have the free packs, you have the wonder picks, like you have stuff to do.
TPCI just has constantly fumbled live. Like I don't know if it's they don't have the budget for it or the audience is too limited to justify putting that much money into it. I don't know, but it's just live has just consistently been criticized since it released, and it just doesn't really seem to get significantly better. So I don't know. I don't know what the issue is with that. There's so many good suggestions out there for how to improve it, and they just don't really seem to do anything, either because they don't have the budget or they don't care. I don't know.
I mean, they barely have a functional client.
Yeah, so this app is designed on the Japanese end. So, but TPCI is, the American company, and they just, I don't know what their issue is. So then let's just, I guess, look at some of the secret rares, because those are, the main set is mostly recycled artwork, not all of it, but a lot of it.
Yeah.
Secret rares are absolutely beautiful. Goes without saying. I don't really like that Vaporeon, but I like the rest of them.
I don't care for it either, actually.
It looks like deviant art.
It just looks out of place. Yeah, it doesn't look.
It looks
like it belongs.
Kind of unprofessional. I don't know. But yeah,
my favorite arts are probably the Mew and the Celebi.
Yeah, Celebi's beautiful. I like Aerodactyl too.
Aerodactyl's cool too.
The Aerodactyl card is actually showing the island that the set is taking place at, like in ancient times. Yeah. And then the Celebi is, of course, beautiful, and it's got an immersive card. That's the only immersive card in the set. And then I also wanted to point out that this set seems to maybe be partly inspired by the Southern Islands promo set that we got in 1999. It also featured Mew and Pidgeot as holo cards, and then of course Executor. So yeah, the set's pretty. Although I just kind of wanted to say my opinion so far with Pocket. I'm kind of losing a little bit of interest in it, and I'm curious if you are at all, because I wasn't able to get that Bulbasaur promo from the last event, and it left a hole in my collection, even though every day I was trying to get it. I got 12 Magnemite cards and never got a single Bulbasaur. So it kind of I know that we're going to get the trading feature soon and we might get it, but I'm starting to get some anxiety playing this app, because I'm starting to get a little tired of having to open it all the time and collect the cards. And then, I don't know, I'm just maybe losing some interest in it. And I'm curious how you feel about it. Are you at all losing?
No, I'm actually still enjoying it for what it's worth. Yeah,
so maybe it's
fine.
So maybe it's just me.
No,
I'm just getting.
No, I don't think it's just you, because we have comment sections. We know some people are fading out of the game, but initial hype, right, versus long-term success.
It'll be interesting to watch how interest changes over time. If it dwindles, or let's see where we are in a year. Mm-hmm. People might have it now and then maybe they'll get tired of it. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, check out the guide on the website. It's got everything that you need to know about the new set all on one convenient page. And then we also have a new Pocket event where you can get emblems by winning matches, as well as pack hourglasses and shine dust. You can check the story or the app for more about that. And then we also have promo cards that are coming out over the next month to celebrate the set during different events. So you can see all of them here. Some of these feature brand new artwork we've never seen before, like the Moltres EX, the Pikachu card with the Squirtle, Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Eevee, the really cool Blastoise card where it kind of looks like it's sitting on a toilet. To me it does. So yeah, Pocket is getting a lot of cool cards and support, and it's nice to see all these players getting involved with it. I just kind of hope that some of them move over to the real card game, because the real card game has so much more nuance and depth to it, and of course you get to collect actual physical cards. So it'll be interesting.
I mean, I don't think it's fair to pick on Pocket's depth this early in its development.
Oh no! I'm not.
Let's be frank. TCG did not have much depth this early on.
No, I'm not. Sorry, I didn't mean to make that sound like I was picking on it. I just mean that the card game is so much more developed and has so much more stuff going on. So I'm just hoping people will check out the physical card game as well. I'm not bashing Pocket at all. Like I think the app is very well designed. Maybe it's not for me in the long run because I don't know if I'm going to want to open it every single day all the time. But I was the biggest advocate for it when we were, first getting information about it and writing articles about how this is going to be a big thing. When other people didn't have.
I was the one. I was poo-pooing it more than you were defending.
Well, it wasn't just you. It was a lot of people. But I wanted to understand why they were releasing this app, and so I was the earliest defender of it. So I appreciate this app and the people it appeals to. Like it's a very good app. So I'm just saying, like, what I appreciate the most about the card game, the physical card game, and what attracts me to the physical card game is that it's a social experience. You go to actual events and play people and you make friends. The app, you're just at home, and I mean, it connects you with your real life friends, I guess, but because you friend people on the app and whatever, and you get their codes. But the physical card game has so much more of a social, in real life aspect to it that I think brings a lot of people together. So I just hope that people explore that. If they're interested in this app, that they move over to the physical card game is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have some people trickle in.
Yeah, of course.
We might have people go the other way.
I think that's maybe it. Well, I guess two more stories from 2 weeks ago. I posted a list of the most valuable cards from Terrestrial Festival EX to kind of give us an idea of what people are chasing. In first place is surprisingly the Umbreon Master Ball Reverse Holo, the regular Umbreon. It's more expensive than the Umbreon EX Special Illustration Rare. So that was a little surprising.
At least it was as of release. Yeah.
It still is. These are all still roughly the same ranking. They don't really change over time. Just how much they cost changes, but the relative ranking of these cards doesn't really change. And then Sylveon EX's Special Illustration Rare was in third place, followed by Sylveon's Master Ball Reverse Holo. Then pretty much the rest of the EV evolutions were on the list. So I just thought it was surprising that the Umbreon Reverse Holo was the most expensive, but I guess they're harder to pull because you're not guaranteed one Master Ball Reverse Holo in a booster box, whereas and there's I think there's 101 Master Ball cards, so you're not even guaranteed one of them, and you're only going to get one out of 101 or whatever. So they're much harder to pull, which explains why it's the most expensive, why they're more expensive, especially the Umbreon. So most Master Ball reverse holos, when I posted this, were running between $7 and $20. Pokeballs were running for like $7 or less. You get 2 to 3 Pokeball reverse holos in a box. And if you only get 2, then it's because you're getting the Master Ball reverse holo as the third one. The least valuable special illustration rares were, unsurprisingly, the alternate mask cards for Ogerpon, the Hearthflame Mask, Wellspring Mask, Cornerstone Mask, and then the special illustration rares of Drayton and Amaris. I didn't think it was all surprising that those mask cards were not.
All 5 of these are not surprising, to be frank.
Yeah, they don't have the best art, and yeah, the masks are just kind of like, eh. I did point out in the story, I did say that I think that these mask cards will increase in value over time, because I've talked about this before, how Pokemon has been very...
Think so.
I know you don't think so, and I know a lot of people don't think so, but I think that they're going to increase in value over time, because I don't think Pokemon is going to release these mask cards again. They've been keeping the generational exclusive Pokemon exclusive in card form to those generations, like with the Therian forms of the Landorus and of course the Ultra Beasts. Those stayed exclusive to those generations. So I don't think these cards are going to release again anytime soon. Ogerpon might get like a regular card with her teal mask, but I don't think the Wellspring Mask, Hearthflame Mask, and Cornerstone Mask are going to get dedicated cards. So we might see these increase.
I don't see how it's any different than like Cast Form or Rotom, frankly.
No, it is different. That's what I'm saying, is that these are...
I don't see how it is.
No, but factually it is, because they don't release... No. They don't release these generation exclusive Pokemon in the following generations. They keep them to this generation. So for the legendaries. So I'm thinking that these cards will increase in value over time when, the kids that grew up with this generation as their first generation, they'll be nostalgic for these Ogerpon cards with these mask forms, and then they'll want to buy the cards, when they're older. So I think the value of them are going to increase in the long run. That's just my theory. So
I expect them to increase because at that point they'd be old, but I don't expect them to increase much beyond what you would expect for whatever the rarity of that specific card is. I just don't see it. I also don't. I've already expressed this, but I don't agree that they will prevent themselves from printing other Ogerpons in the future. I think they're just going to treat it like Cast Form. Will it be as common as in this generation? Absolutely not. But like they've already printed Eternatus in this generation. I don't see why they couldn't just print another one.
Right, but I'm just saying that these have different forms, and we haven't seen. Like I said, the Landorus, Thundurus, Tornadus, we haven't seen those forms since the Black and White era. Like, what was it, 10 years ago? We haven't seen the Ultra Beasts.
That's because those forms are horribly unpopular. I don't think it has anything to do with them being unique.
Yeah, no, and that's true too. They are kind of unpopular in the card game, but Ogerpon itself is a very popular legendary Pokemon. People really love Ogerpon. So I'm just saying that like when the kids now who started with this generation grow up, they're going to want to get these cards because it'll be very nostalgic to them. And so I'm just talking about like really long term. But anyway, it's just a theory. We'll see. I'm sure I'll be here in 15 years still covering this when those kids are older.
I'm sure that when we get to that episode when there's starting to treat it like Cast Form and midway through Gen 10 they're like a Hearthflame Mask, everybody in the comments will be like, you were wrong.
Yeah, the people won't even be around anymore. It's like yeah.
No, they'll stick around out of spite, sir. We know how that works.
And then, so then I also announced that our next English set's going to be named Journey Together, which we already kind of talked about.
Yeah.
It'll release on March 28th. Pre-releases will take place from March 15th to March 23rd. And then the rest we've already covered. So
we've covered those. But Journey Together is an interesting set name. Like I get it's Scarlet and Violet Journey Together, but it is a bizarre set name. At the same time.
Like it. I don't really like it.
I don't hate it, but I don't love it either.
Yeah, but it's just a name. All right, so I think that is it.
Maybe this is where we'll get Liko and Roy's cards.
I don't know. I think the legality for those I think the legality for the Pokemon anime characters is different. That's why you don't often see them in the card game. But I mean, this is the first time we're seeing more anime characters in the card game. We've gotten a lot of Pokemon Horizons promos over the last year. So maybe when they kicked Ash out of the anime and kind of like renegotiated all their contracts, maybe they made it easier for anime characters to come to the card game or something. I don't know. Just spitballing.
Maybe.
Okay, that's it for the week. Is there anything else we want to talk about, or what we have? We're gonna have more Battle Partners cards, obviously revealed over the coming weeks. And this is kicking off.
Looking forward to more for sure.
This is kicking off the year of Owners Pokemon, or officially now called Trainers Pokemon. It's going to be a very exciting year, and I can't wait. I'm really hoping for my Misty's cards, and they had already previewed Misty Psyduck, so we know she's going to eventually appear. So we'll see what happens. But all right, you want to tell us what we're going to...
Not to squirreless, but I would like to point out that both of my cats are currently behind me.
Oh, yeah, I see both of them on your cat tree.
Tough and
Mine's right here, lounging on the floor. Oh, I tried picking up. He ran away. All right, if you made it far in this episode, comment...
drowsy.
Because Justin Basil is very drowsy today. Yeah, I was...
You would know it by all my enthusiastic rebuttals, but, you know...
We were...
Gotta get fired up for something.
We were up late covering the cards, and then I had to wake up early to cover the Chinese stuff, and this is why I have sleep problems, because I've, for the past 22 years, writing articles for this website, news pops up at any time. But actually, what's great is that in recent years, Pokemon's been pretty consistent with their reveal schedules and things. Like, things are kind of now like in the early morning or or kind of night for me, but not really like super early in the morning, except the card set reveals, which luckily you're able to cover because of your time zone. But it's actually gotten easier over the last few years. But God, in the old days, oh my God, when sets would, oh my God, I have such a negative reaction.
PTSD much?
Like when the PTSD. Like when the Japanese sets, they didn't used to reveal those cards on the official website, all the main set cards. They only started doing that a couple of years ago. So I would be up literally for like 2-3 days, scouring the auction websites, trying to collect the images and do the translations of all of the main set cards. And it took so long, and oh my God, it was a nightmare. But things have just gotten so much easier over the years. So I'm thankful for that. My job's gotten a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But God, having to go to do my master's degree at USC and then check for cards being posted to these auction websites, and then getting the translators on to translate them. And then, oh my God, it was a nightmare. But anyway, all right. So thank you for joining us. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and spread the word. Let people know about this podcast. I mean, it's a good news roundup for the whole week, and
it is. And we will see whether or not we do a new episode this next week. It'll be dependent on how much news there is, I suppose.
Yeah.
Or do you want to confirm now that we're for sure going to try to do it?
Well, I don't know. It depends on Christmas and whatever, but we'll see what news pops up.
We'll see the news. Because the news could be light this week with Christmas.
Yeah, it might be too light to do an episode plus Christmas. We might just take it off. We'll see. All right. We will see you all in the next week or two. Thanks for joining us. And we hope you have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and enjoy your times with your families and friends.
We'll see you guys then.
See you next week or in 2 weeks. Bye.